Hello and welcome to the last FIM CEV Repsol race of the year. We're at the famous Circuito de la Comunidad Valenciana, and if race 1 was anything to go by, this race is a must-watch. Of course, it's the last FIM CEV Repsol Moto3 Junior World Championship race of 2016. It's the final countdown to the final race of the year. 18 laps, 8 points, 2 riders, 1 championship. It is all on the line right now. I don't think I have ever seen a race as dramatic as race 1 here. My name is Harry Lloyd. I've just about recovered from the shock of race 1. Joining me is Dakota Momola, and we are set for an absolutely fantastic championship showdown. This race is all about 2 men, Lorenzo Della Porta and Marcos Ramirez. Marcos Ramirez came into this round 14 points behind Della Porta. Della Porta's bike caught fire on the grid. He started from pit lane, absolutely incredible. Then he crashed on just the second corner. Then he remounted to eventually finish in 13th place. So now, Marcos Ramirez, who took an absolutely fantastic victory, now leads by 8 points. So for the championship...
8 or 9?
It's 8 points.
8 points because he finished 14th, that's true.
So
interesting.
Now, if Ramirez wins, he will be champion 100%. 100%. If Della Porta wins, then Ramirez must finish second if Ramirez wants to hold on to the title. If Della Porta wins and wants to be champion, he needs Ramirez to be third.
Anything's possible.
He needs someone like his teammate Raul Fernandez to run interference. Here is the man, 202 points in the championship, Marcos Ramirez on pole position. Head down, nobody around him. What can one do in this situation, Dakota?
You know, Harry, I'm even nervous for him. We always have these big nerves on that grid, and he just needs to try to stay as more calm and relaxed as possible, even during the race. I think what he just has to focus on is to do exactly what he did in race 1. Just do what he does. He knows he's fast. He knows this track by heart. He's done a million laps around it. Why should it be different now? That's the way he should, that's the way he should be thinking into this race. He shouldn't be thinking at all about the points. Obviously, he is going to. It's a natural thing, and the same as for this guy, Della Porta.
Lorenzo Della Porta. So you found out why his bike caught on fire in that first race.
Yeah, basically the cover that covers the front end of the exhaust right by the radiator, it must have had some kind of product or something. It got really hot and it started catching on fire. Thank God there wasn't any gasoline or anything nearby there that could actually make it a lot worse and maybe explode. But I know it was that. If you see underneath, it's hard to see now. Between in the radiator, in the middle of the radiator, it comes out the basically they have a protector that protects the exhaust pipe, and something around there they reckon caught on fire. But the team did a great job to put it out and to get that bike right back out literally 5 minutes after. And unfortunately he did crash, but he got to get 2 points. And I think he was like 35th, so not a bad ride at all.
Yeah, not so bad at all. So Lorenzo Della Porta, there are some party poopers on the grid. We do have Karel Haneke there. Tony Arbolino, it doesn't look like he will be starting this race. There is where he would be starting. He had quite a heavy crash in the first race, got up holding his wrist. So all the best to Tony Arbolino, who will, of course, be moving up to the World Championship next year with that team. Of course, there will be some testing going on tomorrow and the day after for many World Championship teams here. Hopefully Arbolino is fit for that. Here is the man who won the second race of the year here. Kaito Toba crashed out of that race, as did the rest of the Asia Talent team, unfortunately. But he could be a party pooper. The man behind him, Albert Arenas, hasn't taken a win yet this season, was absolutely dominant here last year. Can he and Mahindra get up to the top step of the podium again before Arenas moves to the World Championship? Of those top 6 riders, Karel Haneke is the only rider without a World Championship place for next year, which is pretty incredible. We're still not sure what Haneke will do. Then leading the third row, number 52, is Jeremy Alcoba on the Australia Galicia 00 bike. Behind him is Raul Fernandez, the man who could certainly help Lorenzo Della Porta. He was up there fighting for victory in the first race. Ramirez's teammate, Gerald Reeve, not quite as fast, so won't be able to help as much. Here's the full grid. Marcos Ramirez, Karel Haneke, Lorenzo Della Porta. Watch for all three of them in turn one. Tony Arbolino won't be there. Kaito Choba fourth. Arena sixth. Jeremy Alcoba, Fernandez. Dennis Foggia, another rider, had a pretty big crash. Masaki crashed in the first race. João Macia, Rory Skinner in 12th. Alonso Lopez in 13th. Nakaran Adarat Fuvapat in 14th. Yari Montoya in 15th there. Vincent Perez in 19th. Charlie Nesbitt, the British Moto3 champion in 25th. Danny Saez, Stefano Nepa, Vietti, a VR46 rider. Yurchenko, Walid Soppe, he crashed in the first race. Kurihara ahead of Gonzalez. Rossi, Bruno Iraqi, Boulon, Fellini, Garcia, two Garcias there. Tim Georgie, Taz Taylor, Nakamura in 36th place. As we said, this is the biggest grid we've had all year. Gabriel Martin, Nez Abreco ahead of Andrea Cavalieri, Maximilian Capello, Rufino Florido, Philippe Salak, Anthony Groppi, Josh Owens, and finally Alish View rounds out the grid in what is that 44th place, I believe. Whew.
It's going to be a long, exciting race. I can't wait for this one.
It definitely is. As we said, championship on the line.
And it's always good to finish the last race like that. You know, down to the wire for the championship. Everyone's looking. There's Carmelo Morales. Espeleta.
Don't worry, I've made that mistake.
Sorry about that.
Well.
And it's good to see him here too. Like I said,
CEO of Dorna Sports.
Yeah.
This is especially the Moto3 Junior World Championship, a direct feeder. So he is out here to scout, who he'll potentially be ruling over in the coming years. Of course, this championship is run by Dorna to help, not only help Spanish races, but help bring through international races. And, this championship is a wonderful example of that. We have British riders, Spanish riders, Italian riders, Czech riders, Finnish riders, Russian riders, Indonesian riders, Japanese riders, Thai riders. Almost any nationality you can think of is represented here. And the level is almost on parity with the World Championship. If you can win races here, you can probably be certain that you can fight for a top 10 in the World Championship.
For sure. As we saw, the lap times in the first race from these guys and the rhythm is basically what the top 8 finishers of the World Championships are doing. And we've seen already, Ramirez already do a few wild cards in the World Championship. And
two top 10s.
Two top 10s. So there you go. Definitely, if you're in the front here, you're in the front in the World Championship. And this is basically where all young riders, talented kids start to kind of grow and try to make it in the World Championship. And it's a great championship organized by Dorna.
Exactly, and this is, as we said, the last race of the year. Keep your eyes for number 42 and number 48. 42, Marcos Ramirez, now the championship leader. 8 points. What separate him from potentially lifting his first title. But can Lorenzo Della Porta, who has led for the majority of the season, can Della Porta come back from the disaster of the first race? We look over to Della Porta. His bike seems fire-free this time, which is exactly what we want. Everybody is on the exact same tyres for this race. Turn your eyes to the top left of the screen. There are the lights. They will go red, and then they will go out, and then we will be racing. This is the last race of the year. Get ready for action, because it's about to get a bit crazy here in Valencia, and we are away racing. A great start from Marcos Ramirez. Not the best start from Karel Haneke. A pretty solid start from Lorenzo Della Porta as well. Be careful through the first 2 turns. It is pretty cold out there. As they tiptoe around the first corner, looks like all of the guys at the front have made it through okay. It is not Ramirez who leads. It looks like that is number 52, the Australia Galicia bike, who does lead ahead of Lorenzo Della Porta. Marcos Ramirez has been pushed back. If it were to finish like that, Ramirez would still be champion, but we still have a very, very long way to go.
Here's that right-hander where everyone kind of seems to tuck the front early. But
Jeremy Alcoba currently being challenged by Lorenzo Della Porta out of the front. Looks like Della Porta has seized the lead. Della Porta could be champion with this result, but there are still 18 long, hard laps to go. So far, everybody is through safely. Raul Fernandez in the mix, as is Karel Haneke, as is Alberto Arenas, as is Dennis Foggia. Dennis Foggia had a pretty early crash, so we haven't really seen what he's capable of this race. Kaito Choba up there as well. It is Ramirez versus Della Porta at the front. As we said, Ramirez can finish in second place and still take the championship by the narrowest of margins. Every lap is incredibly tense for both of these guys out at the front. And we could have someone with nothing to lose come charging through. Certainly the likes of Jeremy Alcoba and Kaido Toba. They have no horse in this race. Both ride Hondas. It's not like there's any manufacturer loyalty for either of them. It is Lorenzo Della Porta who leads, but Marcos Ramirez is looking up the inside. He wants to become champion with a win. Of course he does. Lorenzo Della Porta, an incredible ride in that first race to salvage points after Lady Luck threw the worst that she had at him. Here we go, we cross the line neck and neck. There's nothing to choose between any of the leading, all of the leading 15 riders are right together. There is Marcos Ramirez who leads through turn 1 with Lorenzo Della Porta just behind. This will be a race of tactics. Who will watch, who will wait, who will attack and try and break away?
Ramirez is really not going to try to push it a bit and, you know, try to break away. If he can try to get a little gap. Oh,
Della Porta back up the inside.
Della Porta is not going to give it to him, I can guarantee you.
And Della Porta has the advantage of having Raul Fernandez right with him, right behind him. And with the potential to attack. There he goes, up the inside of Marcos Ramirez. Will Raul Fernandez now run interference for Lorenzo Della Porta and allow him to hopefully escape at the front? Jeremy Alcoba has also slipped through, as has Karel Hanneke. This is disastrous for Marcos Ramirez.
This is dangerous because, you know, he's got, I bet you the teams talked to, Ramirez? No, Fernandez, and said, hey, listen, if you're in a battle with him, try to help out Della Porta. And this is what Della Porta needs. He needs this right now. And Della Porta now has a slight little gap from Fernandez, his teammate. And for sure, this is good. This is good for Della Porta, but Ramirez ain't going to give up. Ramirez needs to get through all this pack.
There he goes, up the inside of Karel Hanneke. Ramirez needs to get to the head of this group to have that clear track.
He needs to stay with Della Porta and stay with him.
It is Della Porta who crosses the line in the lead. 0.3 of a second
Here's
advantage
his dad watching
over his teammate. The slipstream helps to close everything up. Here comes Ramirez up the inside of Alcoba. He's on the podium. First and third would be enough for Lorenzo Della Porta. With a 9-point difference, Della Porta would seal the championship by just a single point. But now they're all together.
Fernandez is going to have a big play in this.
Fernandez needs to
and Fernandez was really fast in the race 1.
Exactly.
So I don't see why he cannot be there with them in the whole entire race.
For me, Fernandez has the speed to win this race.
Tear off
for Fernandez.
I'm not sure if he was trying to toss that to Ramirez, but
there it is, 4 points. Looks like my math was a little bit out, unfortunately. Number 13 and 81 have jumped the start. That is Stefano Nepper and Walid Sopper, the Dutch rider, so they will have to have a ride-through penalty. Disaster for them, but they're not currently playing a role in this championship battle.
Ooh, nice pass from Alberto Arenas. Getting into 5th, I think it is. Or 6th. Yeah, 5th.
Yep,
he just passed Hanneke.
Meanwhile, these 3 at the front, 3 crucial riders.
Lap times from all these riders are basically low 41s.
Yep, low 41s right now. Here we have a replay of the start. Look towards the back. Oh, yep, big jump start there from Stefano Nappa towards the middle of your picture there. It is Della Porta who leads, but Ramirez is now up into 2nd. This is exactly what Ramirez now wants and needs.
Ooh, a little sniff
right with him.
Turn 2 from it's hard with all these, so many riders in a group.
Here comes Ramirez up. Sorry to cut across you there, but Ramirez comes up the inside. But can Della Porta fling it back through at turn 5? It looks like he does. Look at the size difference between those 2 riders. Ramirez definitely more suited to a Moto2 machine, but is making that Moto3 KTM absolutely sing versus the Husqvarnas of Della Porta and Fernandez.
you can imagine the passion of these kids, how badly they want that championship. And
here comes Arenas as well, looking for way up the inside of Fernandez. Can't quite do it on the Mahindra. Fernandez, good drive out of that corner despite a little bit of a twitch there.
And the thing is, we got Fernandez, we got Arenas, all these riders who've never won a race yet. And that's all they want also is, obviously they're thinking, oh, don't take any of these two out. But it'd be good to see if this group can stay together and see some great passing.
Exactly. Still 15 laps to go. A long time by Moto3 standards.
Oh.
Ramirez makes another big move up the inside to take the lead of this race. Can he push? Can he push and fight ahead to open up a gap and potentially not have to worry about what happens to Della Porta as it's Moto3? I don't think that's going to happen, as we can see Della Porta immediately back with him and immediately in front. Raul Fernandez having a big sniff as well. Fernandez slides it up the inside and Ramirez goes from first to third place.
This is going to be one of those races where you won't... Oh,
here comes Arenas. Arenas on the Mahindra up into third, looking for his second podium of the year. Not what Ramirez would have wanted, but as we've seen, Ramirez does have the potential
into turn 4
to fight his way back up.
But Arenas is...
Oh. Arenas has been dispatched by Ramirez.
Oh, big hand signal from Ramirez to Albert saying, hey, stick behind me and come with me, because what he doesn't want is to get disturbed. But, you know, Arenas is just racing his own race, and if he sees he's faster than him, he ain't going to just sit behind him.
Exactly, that is the difficult thing here, and a hugely difficult situation for Raul Fernandez. Obviously, he has huge potential to help his teammate here, and his teammate does need a bit of help. But on the other hand, Raul Fernandez is looking for his first ever win in this class. It's an incredibly difficult choice to make. We saw in World Superbikes a couple of times that team orders have come into it. Will it be the same here today? I hope not. I hope it will just be hard racing. But you certainly cannot blame Raul Fernandez. Just as I say that, he does slip into the lead ahead of Lorenzo Della Porta. Runs it a bit wide though. Looks across at his teammate. Looks like he's sitting up a bit to try and not get the best drive he can. There is the Leopard team cheering on Marcos Ramirez. Ramirez is now back right behind Della Porta.
Here goes
and
Ramirez.
Goes up the inside again into turn 1. This championship is going to go down to the last corner of the last lap. It's almost pointless for us to say what is happening in the championship lap by lap because there is so much.
Nearly.
And Arenas is in there as well. Meanwhile, Karel Haneker watches on, waiting for his opportunity to strike. Dennis Foggia, great speed from him too to get ahead of Jeremy Alcoba.
Lap times have dropped to 40s for most of the riders in the top 6. So now this is the race pace they had in race 1. But, you know, with all these passings and that, you know, they're going to always slow down the pace a little bit. Seems like there's a slightly small gap forming, but these two are going to go at it.
Yep, Della Porta has a bit of a look, but can't quite do it.
Oh, no, another Asian?
That's Mark Garcia with the Monlau bike, built by the Monlau Engineering School, sort of an end-of-year assessment for them. And it looks like he also collected Gabriel Martinez Abraco, the Mexican rider. But out the front, the war rages. The war for supremacy. Lorenzo Della Porta has a bit of a sniff, can't quite do it up through turn 12. There it is. Della Porta would be champion by a point.
How's that?
Apparently, I'm not sure how that works. That must have been done when he was still in the lead, because he's currently scoring less points and Ramirez is the championship leader. So that graphic, not quite. Oh, looks like someone just ripped something off their bike. Not sure what it was. Maybe it was cooling tape for the radio.
It could be the cooling tape, yeah. I think that's what it was.
Because that is quite a common thing, is that they will put tape on the radiator, but then they'll basically make a little handle for the rider to rip off.
Yeah, when I used to race 125, that's what they used to do. They used to, because the bikes during the race, with all the slipstream and that, you know, when you're behind a guy on the slipstream, the bike temperature can go up really high. And they always put that extra, you know, taping just in case with this cold weather. And if it ever gets overly heated, you can just rip it off in the middle of the race.
Exactly, here we are at the front. Ramirez, Della Porta, and Arenas, then Hanukkah just behind. Della Porta, he keeps having a sniff. He keeps telling Ramirez, I'm here, I'm here.
And that's what he needs to do. He needs to show him that he's right behind him, breathing on his neck. Because what he's hoping for is maybe Ramirez can make a slight mistake, and that's what's going to cost the championship, is that little mistake.
Exactly. We've seen Valentino Rossi do that so many times before in the World Championship. Just push and push his opponent. Here comes Della Porta. The look turns into an attack through turn 12 as they go up over the crest into turn 13. It is Lorenzo Della Porta who does lead this little group before are starting to break away. Ramirez has the inside line. It looks like he will be able to just slide past on Lorenzo Della Porta to once again lead across the line. Still, there will be 11 laps to go once they cross the start-finish straight. An absolutely mammoth amount of laps still to go.
Look at the stress and nerves and from the dad and all the family inside that garage.
It's a very tense moment for all the riders involved. Another podium finish would also be great for Raul Fernandez, as it would cement him as third overall in the championship, which would be a big result for the young rider. It looks like Hanukkah has now joined up on this group at the front. Dennis Foggia also not too far back.
Good group of 8 or 9 guys, all in the 40s.
Nobody trying to break away at the front.
Oh,
starting to get a bit aggressive. Couple of elbows, couple of hard moves coming out now between Lorenzo Della Porta and Marcos Ramirez.
It's funny talking to Carmelo after the podium. He was like, "Was I a little bit too aggressive on on Medina?" I was like, no. Well, you got to look at it, but as our point, you know, as spectators, we love it. We loved it, and
exactly. Hard racing is good racing from a spectator's point of view. And speaking of hard racing, Albert Arenas has managed to wedge that Mahindra up into third place.
Ooh.
Ramirez.
Around the outside, Fernandez.
Just follows Della Porta through. No, yeah, as you say, Fernandez, incredible to watch. Great little rider, Raul Fernandez. A big one for the future.
Slipstream, you know, you could be in fourth and then third, and then so it's...
Yep, and there goes Ramirez and Fernandez through on Della Porta. Yep, Dennis Foggia now well and truly with that leading group as well.
Oh, aggressive pass, but Ramirez is one man down.
Exactly, he doesn't have a teammate to help him. There's Walled Stop after his ride through down in 26th place. Bit of a disappointing. Right. Oh, actually, I've just been informed that he actually hasn't come through for his ride through, and he will be getting a black flag. Unfortunately, huge disappointment there for the Dutch rider, who hasn't really had the best season, definitely a season of learning for him. It is now Raul Fernandez who leads this race. Couple of bike lengths there on his teammate, as Marcos Ramirez has been pushed to fourth with Della Porta in second, and Albert Arenas there in third. Ramirez fourth, just ahead of Dennis Foggia. What will happen now as we approach half race distance? Does not look like there is a sign of rain.
No, I think we're going to be okay. To be honest, Harry, I was out there and it looked clearer, a little bit clearer than this morning.
Super.
Here comes Ramirez, I think.
Yeah, it looked like Ramirez was lining up a move on Albert Arenas. Couldn't quite do it, but as you said, this straight and the slipstream is so important. Great. Oh, yep, there we go. There is the 13. Black flagged, Walled Stopper. Bit of a disappointing end for the Dutchman. Oh. And it looks like that's Stefano Nepper finally going in for his ride through, which may be a bit too late as well. Hopefully Walled Stopper there on the bright orange bike will pull in at the end of the next lap. Because of course you don't want his race affecting the race of others now that he has effectively been ruled out of it. Here we go at the front. It is Lorenzo Della Porta versus Marcos Ramirez once again. Who can do it?
Oh,
big crash there for
crash.
Jaume Masia again, and it looks like another one of the Asia Talent Team bikes. Couldn't quite see the number on that bike. Just that sort of sums up Jaume Masia's year, unfortunately. Just far too many crashes and always getting a bit injured from them, unfortunately. Out the front, it's nice and tight still. Ramirez leads Della Porta. Oh, and looks like we have a rider down there. That looks like Andy Farrad, one of the Asia Talent Team riders. Hopefully they can move him, or we could have a red flag and potentially have a short restarted race, which would throw yet another dimension into this championship. But so far everyone does seem to be going through okay. It is Marcos Ramirez who leads from Lorenzo Della Porta. That those positions would be enough to crown Ramirez as the champion.
And here's another problem which I've seen actually happen is, you know, when 3/4 of the race has passed and you're in 4th place and they red flagged it, that's your position. You know, they take the position you were in the last lap. So Ramirez and them need to also be careful for that. If 3/4 of the race passes, you don't want to be hanging in 4th or 5th because, okay, I'm not saying the red flag is going to pop out, but you never know what could happen, and that could be the end of the championship.
No, it does look like the marshals did manage to move Andy Farrad just as they came through. Bit worried that maybe Marcos Ramirez passed Fernandez under a yellow flag, but I couldn't see any flag in the shot, so we will give him the benefit of the doubt for now. As Fernandez slams it up the inside, does it open the door for Alberto Arenas? No, it doesn't.
Fernandez isn't afraid of sticking it in Ramirez anywhere he wants to. So
Definitely not. And there is Walid Soper, black flag from the race, having a bit of a discussion with his team about the protocol for the ride-through penalty. Shrug of the shoulders, doesn't seem too worried.
I'd take the bike and keep going just to have some fun. Last race.
Here we go. Dennis Foggia and Karel Hanneke on the back of this group. It looks like Della Porta has opened up just a couple of bike lanes, and with Fernandez running interference in second, that could be exactly what this Leglise team need. 8 laps to go right now. It will be 7 round the outside for Marcos Ramirez, but Fernandez has the inside line. Does that open the door for Alberto Arenas? Yes, it does. Alberto Arenas now slams through into second place on that sweet handling MGP's 3.0 Mahindra machine. But can Marcos Ramirez use the superior speed of the KTM to slip past the Indian-built bike? It is India versus Austria in the first corner. It is, but here we go, Ralph, and now, oh! Marcos Ramirez has gone down. That's his championship over. The disaster at turn 1 as he tried to hold on. Absolute shock scenes in the JHK Leglise team. Marcos Ramirez has thrown this championship away. As long as Lorenzo Della Porta can finish in the top 3, the championship will be his. There is Marcos Ramirez.
No.
The tail end of his bike flapping around. Here we go, watching it again.
If you see, he pushes Albert a little bit too wide there.
He was trying to see how late he could get on the brakes.
Yeah.
Just far too late. Then Fernandez slips through, carrying too much corner speed.
Way too
and
much.
The front of that KTM just folds from under him. Absolute shock. Oh, he tried to stand up straight away and got unfortunately thrown. Sprinted straight to the bike.
Look at. See, the people can't see, but we're watching Della Porta's dad, and he's just...
He's in tears.
But don't celebrate too early.
As we saw this morning and just now, anything can happen. Lorenzo Della Porta, no doubt his team will inform him that Ramirez is out. He just needs to finish this race, not even on the podium. There is Lorenzo Della Porta's father. A hugely proud moment, but also a hugely nervous moment for him. Of course, Lorenzo Della Porta, as we said, will be moving to the World Championship with the Aspar Mahindra team on a factory bike. Here we go. Here's now the battle for second place. Dennis Foggia, the Italian. Dennis the Menace is there. Alberto Arenas leaves it too late.
Way too deep.
He's now well and truly dropped out of that podium battle. It is now, it looks like Raul Fernandez on course for his second place of the year, his 4th podium in a row. There is Marcos Ramirez, screen flapping around, fairing flapping around. Looks like it's almost dragging on the ground as well. Bit of a wobble there. Gravel spraying out of the bike. No tail unit on that bike at all. What a sorry sight
That's the
to see.
So many championship leaders has changed. Della Porta came in, was leading it. Then Ramirez was leading it, and now he's leading it. So, I mean, anything can happen in a race weekend, as you saw.
Exactly. We do still have guys like Foggia and like Haneker who do want to try and win this race. You know, maybe they can close the gap to Della Porta, and then who knows what could happen out the front there. Drama, 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 drama. That is the defining word of this championship weekend.
Look, they're just showing Della Porta on his signboard the position that Ramirez is in. That's what and that's what Della Porta wants to know is where is he, since I can't see him, and
he is in 21st place.
And that's what they've just put right now, P21.
It is going to take some truly incredible scenes for Marcos Ramirez to pull this one back. Can that man there, number 71, Dennis Foggia, can he get at the front and potentially throw Marcos Ramirez a lifeline? Looked like there was some drama in the background as a couple of riders ran wide. Another great ride from Raul Fernandez yet again. Victory may not be his, but second place is more than enough to cement him third overall in the championship. And that's a great result from the young Spaniard. Lorenzo Della Porta, the champion-elect. Can he stay cool, calm, and collected? Or will there be even more drama in this race? Ramirez is up to 19th place now. He's fighting hard, but after a crash, can he really do it? The odds were against him when he came into this race weekend. Then the odds swung in his favor, and now Lady Luck has evened the scales for Della Porta.
Fernandez is going to want to win this race too. He's never won a race, I think.
No, he's never won a race.
Yes, it is his teammate, but
second would be enough for Della Porta.
For sure.
So maybe Fernandez, but we have to hope that Fernandez does keep cool and doesn't try anything too silly, isn't too aggressive. He is young, and victory is a sweet, sweet taste. But who knows? Della Porta's team showing him the number one sign. Another crash. Second DNF of the day for Nakaranarat Fuvapat. Oh, fast crash. Looks like he lost the front going in.
Turn 10.
Big crash for the Thai rider there. Meanwhile, as we peered out of our commentary window, all of the Leglise team were giving Della Porta the number one finger, telling him that he is the championship elect. Now look at this. Here is the battle for where is that up to? That's up to Marco. 14th. Yep, and that's Marcos Ramirez in the fight for 14th. He's now up in the point scoring positions. He has repeated what Della Porta did in the first race, but it won't be enough, I'm sorry to say, unless something does happen.
If it finishes like this, Della Porta wins it by 17 points, which is clearly enough. And
absolutely.
It's clear enough for him to finish third if he really wanted to. And that's where I don't see fourth position guy coming up to him.
Nope, it would certainly take a huge moment or something similar to upset Lorenzo Della Porta. Because right now this race and this championship does look set in stone. Who would have thought that we would have had this result after the morning we had, after the year we had? We've had some incredible races, a huge number of race winners, and hard battles throughout, but now it has come down to this last race. And as ever, consistency is key. Raul Fernandez shaking his head there, probably giving himself a bit of a pep talk.
Come on, you can do it.
Either telling himself to try and gain in on Lorenzo Della Porta or settle for second, and no doubt the reward that his team will give him. There is Marcos Ramirez. He has gotten ahead of those riders. Ramirez is now in 14th place. But the gap to 13th is over 10 seconds. It's his teammate in 13th. But even passing his teammate wouldn't be enough. Meanwhile, Raul Fernandez, he's with his teammate. Could Raul Fernandez be an angel or be a devil in this championship? Will he help his teammate, or will he hunger and quest for victory?
I think he can do both. He's helped them already in the beginning of the start, and if I'm him, I've helped you during this race, now let me win this race. But I don't think Fernandez knows that Ramirez crashed, because he was on the inside of him when Ramirez crashed on the outside, but clearly he sees that. He's not getting passed by him.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. You'd think that, oh, I don't suddenly have Ramirez breathing down my neck. But he is. He's right with his teammate. Maybe Lorenzo Della Porta will take it easy on his teammate and settle for second and there for the championship.
2 laps to go.
Yep, 2 laps to go. Dennis Foggia on for a repeat podium after his podium at the start of the year. Valencia, clearly a circuit that serves the Italian. There we see Raul Fernandez giving it the head again.
He's just a funny character.
He is. He's a great little kid.
He looks like he's enjoying the race, you know what I mean? And that's what racing's all about, I think. You should be enjoying it. And he looks like he's just having a great time.
Exactly.
But you better watch out, because Foggia is right behind him, too.
Yep.
Oh, no.
Disaster for Alberto Arenas after such a great start to the race. The number 11 bike limps home into the pit box. There is Marcos Ramirez. What a sorry sight. Marcos Ramirez in 14th. He's ridden like a champion, as has Lorenzo Della Porta. Either rider would have been a worthy champion after the rides they have produced here today.
Della Porta is 1.5 laps away from maybe being a potential Moto3
Junior
World Champion.
Exactly.
Team Leglis just on the other TV.
Could Dennis Foggia be a late wild card? He's definitely with these riders. Does Foggia keep cool, or does he try and attack? He still has a bit of a way to go to gain on Fernandez. Meanwhile, Fernandez is still right with Della Porta. It'll be interesting to see what they do down the start-finish straight. They will come across the start-finish line for the penultimate time.
Come on, Fernandez, give it a little head shake.
The next time Della Porta comes across this line, he could potentially be the Moto3 Junior World Champion. Here we go, no big moves. Last lap underway. 13 corners now separate Lorenzo Della Porta from championship glory. But here comes Raul Fernandez up the inside at turn 2. A nice clean pass there. Will Della Porta settle for second and let his teammate take to the top step of the podium for the first time in his career? No, the Italian looks like he's trying to fight back.
Oh, Della Porta
this could get hairy. This race is by no means over just yet.
Everything happens on the last lap, they say, and Della Porta's got this in his pocket, and he knows it, and I don't think he's going to do any stupid mistakes.
No. Della Porta is a very mature rider. He's ridden the second half of the World Championship twice now, 2 years, this year with the Sky VR46 team. There is Lorenzo Della Porta's father, nervously bouncing from foot to foot. He knows that his son has...
He's been doing that for the past 20 minutes
Exactly.
now.
His son has one hand on the World Championship trophy. There is Marcos Ramirez now to 13th place, giving it his all to try and salvage a result. You have to be in it to win it, they say, and he is certainly giving it his all. But in all honesty, I can't see beyond Lorenzo Della Porta. Here he comes, looking up the inside at the final corner on his teammate. No, he lets his team. It looks like he's going to let his teammate take the victory. Raul Fernandez will take victory here in Valencia, but it is Lorenzo Della Porta, who is the 2016 Moto3 Junior World Champion. Take a bow, sir. An absolutely incredible season. 5 wins for him. 5 pole positions. And who would have thought that after the scenes we saw this morning? His bike caught on fire. He had to start from pit lane. Then he crashed. Marcos Ramirez knows it's over. Absolutely devastating scenes for Marcos Ramirez.
You can't say he didn't try.
Exactly, and what a great race for this man, young man here. Raul Fernandez, one to watch next year. He takes his first ever race win in the FIM CEV Repsol as his teammate is crowned the 2016 Moto3 Junior World Champion following Nicolo Balega. Interestingly enough, a primarily Spanish-based championship has now been won twice in a row by Italians. There he is, Lorenzo Dalla Porta.
Like I said, the Italians are taking over.
No doubt over the moon. I cannot wait to hear what he says about how his day started, how he stayed calm, how he recovered from that one. Absolutely unthinkable, and a great job there from Dennis Foggia as well to return to the podium after an up and down season for the Italian. Hopefully he'll be back next year to again do another solid year. Of course, Lorenzo Dalla Porta and Marcos Ramirez do move to the World Championship, where no doubt their great battles will continue. I'm sure Mahindra Racing will be over the moon to welcome Lorenzo Dalla Porta as the Moto3 Junior World Champion. But for now, Lorenzo Dalla Porta, much like his father, will just be soaking in the pure and raw emotion. He can't contain himself. I don't blame him. What a year it has been. What a race weekend. I mean, if this is your first FIM CEV Repsol weekend, if you're watching it for the first time, then do be sure to go back on YouTube and watch all that you have missed. And do join us next year, because it is set to be an absolutely unforgettable season. Not every race has the drama that Valencia had, but it certainly does have the great racing and high emotion. Raul Fernandez, quite rightly, gets thrown in the air by the team after a fantastic race.
You must admit, like, these has done a great job with their riders. You know, Carmelo champion. You know, now Dalla Porta. Last year they had Bullagas and Carmelo again. So, you know, it's a really, really strong team he's got there.
Yeah, exactly, that Bullagas team. And there he is, the champion, lifted up over the barriers he goes. Careful there, boys. He's a champion now. He's now worth a bit extra. Don't drop him. Dakota will, of course, be going to speak to Lorenzo Dalla Porta and Raul Fernandez. What a season. What a season. All the sacrifice is worth it. A big hug between Raul Fernandez and Lorenzo Dalla Porta. The emotion is overflowing down there in Parc Fermé. Absolutely unbelievable scenes. These two races, who would have ever seen that coming? I know that I certainly wouldn't have. This Moto3 Junior World Championship continues to throw up surprise after surprise. And there he is, thrown up in the air again. There is Carmelo Morales. As Dakota said, great for that team to produce two champions and so many race winners. And here we go, the race 2 results. Raul Fernandez wins, Lorenzo Dalla Porta takes second in the championship, Dennis Foggia third, Karel Haneke fourth, Alonso Lopez in fifth, ahead of teammate Jeremy Alcoba, Yari Montoya in seventh, Vincent Perez in eighth. Rory Skinner scores his first top 10 of the year in 9th place. Then in 10th is Jared Ryu once again, Aaron Polanco in 11th, Masahi 12th, Marcos Ramirez 13th. What a disastrous second race. Vietti in 14th, Garcia 15th, Charlie Nesbitt outside the points in 16th, Danny Sayers in 17th. Iraqi in 18th place, the Italian, as you can see, a huge number of Spanish and Italians, but a nice mix of other nationalities in there as well. There is Jared Ryu with the Leopard Racing team. A great final weekend for him, unfortunately. Not so strong for his team. And here are the race highlights. The lights went out and it was Marcos Ramirez who made a dominant start. Lorenzo Dalla Porta was with him from the go. Karel Haneke also very strong from the word go. They tipped in to turn 1 and it was Jeremy Alcoba who led the way, but it wouldn't last long as both Della Porta and Marcos Ramirez were on the attack from the word go. They both wanted to win that race. They both knew that winning the race was the best way of securing the championship. It was those two dicing it out at the front. There we see Della Porta following Marcos Ramirez, then Ramirez following Della Porta all the while. The likes of Albert Arenas and Raul Fernandez continued to spice up that championship battle, pushing both riders to the absolute limit. The team were on the edge of their seats. Marcos Ramirez very, very strong into turn one for most of the race, able to make some big moves there, but Della Porta always struck back as the fighting got more and more aggressive between the pair. There we go, there it was, the championship lost. He tried to push it too deep on the brakes, carried in too much corner speed, and the KTM just said no, please no, and folded underneath him. And then Lorenzo Della Porta was alerted of what had happened. Lorenzo Della Porta produced an incredibly calm ride. Despite his bike being destroyed, Ramirez put up a solid fight, and then it was Fernandez who actually slipped through on Lorenzo Della Porta. Lorenzo Della Porta didn't put up too much of a fight, more than happy for his teammate to take victory as Lorenzo Della Porta took the championship. Look at them, all three of those front riders absolutely ecstatic with their results. There was Carmelo Morales helping out with the celebratory burnouts, of course, with 11 titles. He knows a thing or two about how to burn out and celebrate. And here we go. Here is the podium. It is Raul Fernandez on the top step, but with the fancy championship shirt, it is Lorenzo Della Porta. Look at that, black and gold, a classic look. Dennis Foggia there in third place. There is the team taking the team's trophy. A fantastic result for Dennis Foggia. Not had the most consistent season, but certainly has shown those flashes of speed, which could see him be a title contender one year. There is Della Porta, the most important second place trophy of his life. The one that cemented him as the Moto3 Junior World Champion. What a weekend for Leglise. What a weekend for Raul Fernandez, who has now taken victory ahead of his teammate. Raul Fernandez well and truly cements himself in third place overall. And look how happy he is. That is what racing is all about. And he also gets the oversized fuel check, which always helps to sweeten the deal. And now for the Spanish anthem. Now the applause, and unfortunately Raul Fernandez and Dennis Foggia, in fact, don't get any carver. They just get fizzy water, but they will still be more than happy to pose for the photo. And Lorenzo Della Porta, no doubt he will be incredibly pleased with the weekend. It went from the lowest of lows to the highest of highs. Raul Fernandez there getting his championship winning teammate with the fizzy water. I'm not sure if it's fizzy water or lemonade. I've never actually tried it. It's a bit hard to tell. There we go, spraying the team. But certainly the happiest man up on that podium will be Lorenzo Della Porta. After an absolutely fantastic season for him. It all looked to almost be over, in all honesty, but then he pulled together, and here he is. Here is how Lorenzo Della Porta went about winning the Moto3 Junior World Championship. It was through consistent results. Lorenzo Della Porta was only ever twice or thrice off the podium, including this weekend. He took a total of 4 wins and 5 further podiums. He was the man to beat. With World Championship experience this year, he certainly had the know-how to battle with the best. It wasn't always easy because Moto3 never is, but Lorenzo Della Porta always kept a cool head and managed to outwit his competition. He'll now be looking forward to a successful career in the World Championship, having already battled victory twice this season, and now looking to move to the Factory Mahindra team. What a season, what a season. Take a bow, sir. We are just getting ready for the overall championship standings. Here we go. Lorenzo Della Porta will take to the top step. It is Raul Fernandez in 3rd place. Marcos Ramirez. Never have you seen a sadder rider in 2nd place than that. And that's understandable. You know, all of these guys, all they want to do is win. It is Lorenzo Della Porta, who has won the championship this year, and what a way to do it. Kept us all on the edge of our seats all year. Raul Fernandez, fantastic result. And as we said, watch for Raul Fernandez finishing 3rd, and with most of the guys around him moving up to the World Championship, Fernandez definitely a title favourite. Scuffed, battered and bruised, but the ride of a champion, Marcos Ramirez. He overcame fire, he overcame rain, he overcame earth. It is your 2016 Moto3 Junior World Champion, Lorenzo Della Porta, gets his FIM Certificate of Authenticity. Bit of paper's always nice, bit of paper's always nice. 9 points, that's all that separated them. Now, the Italian anthem. Simply fantastic. I cannot even begin to imagine the feelings that are running through Lorenzo Della Porta's head right now. I don't think I've ever experienced anything in my life that comes close to winning a Junior World Championship, and especially after all of that drama. I am almost speechless after what we have seen today. As we said, the highest of highs, the lowest of lows, and here we go. Your overall championship standings. It is Lorenzo Della Porta who takes the title ahead of Marcos Ramirez, Raul Fernandez, Toba in 4th with 103 points. Lopez there. Sasaki holds on to 6th with 83. Then is Dennis Foggia in 7th, ahead of Awad Arenas, the leading Mahindra. Then Tony Arbolino in 9th. And we're now going to cut across to Raul Fernandez, who is with Dakota Momola. A great top 10 there as well for Misaki with 72 points. And
you look like you were having fun out there. You finished 3rd in the championship, and yeah, your first win of the season. You must be super happy. Fernández, buena carrera, tu primera victoria de la temporada y seguro que muchos más. Y nada, 3º en el campeonato también. ¿Cómo te sientes?
En inglés, ¿no? Yes, I'm very happy because this is my first victory, and this is very important for me and for my team, because we finished in the 3rd position in the championship, and this is super important for the next year, because this is my first year in FIM CEV Repsol, and I am so happy.
Español.
Estoy muy feliz. Una victoria es muy importante para mí y para el equipo, porque al final estamos pensando ya en el año que viene y como mejor forma de terminar que siendo 3º. Agradecer a todo el equipo y sobre todo a mi familia y a Óscar Aro.
Wonderful for Raul Fernandez, and obviously those Red Bull rookie races helping with the English as well. So already very, very well media trained. There you can see him crossing the line. Hard to see who is happier, him or Lorenzo Della Porta. We will be speaking to the Italian in just a second as he gets there in front of Dakota Momola. What a great race, what a great weekend, what a great year.
Ciao Della Porta, great season, congratulations. And the race was interesting because you were battling there with Ramirez and you knew that you were 8 points behind him, so you need to you know, take it easy, but you played it smart, and you are Moto3 Junior World Champion. How does it feel?
Yeah, it's fantastic to be the Junior World Championship. And like this is better because in the first race we have a problem with the bike and I can start, and when I start from the last position and I crash from another rider. And on the final I don't think in any case that I can win the Junior World Championship, but I know that I have a opportunity on the second race, and we have to do this. It's fantastic. Thanks to my team, thanks everybody. I have other things.
Italian?
Sì, è veramente fantastico vincere così e sinceramente non me lo sarei quasi mai aspettato, perché quando nella prima gara mi è presa a fuoco la moto, poi sono partito ultimo, la seconda curva mentre stavo rimontando sono caduto, quindi non avrei mai pensato di poterlo fare. Poi non lo so, c'era ancora un'opportunità e alla fine dai, l'ho sfruttata. Ringrazio tutti, il mio team, la mia famiglia, gli sponsor, tutti. Grazie a tutti.
Absolutely fantastic there from Lorenzo Della Porta, clearly full of emotion, fighting back the tears there. What a year it has been. 2016, has it been the best CEV year ever? I personally think so. But get ready, because we're going to be back in action not too long in the future. We will be back with our first race of the season on the 30th of April at the Circuito de Albacete in Spain. A bit of a different start to the year. We did start here in Valencia this year, but next year the calendar is all change. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic year, and no doubt we'll see the same great fighting between all the top riders, all running for some of the best teams in the world, direct links to the World Championship, great characters, a great weekend out. What more is there to say about the CEV? It's a huge family atmosphere, the racing is hard, the riding is fast, and you have Australians doing funny things on small bikes. And characters like that everywhere. The calendar isn't yet finalised, but we certainly do know that we will be in Albacete on the 30th of April, so please do come and join us there, because if this weekend is anything to go by, even if next year is half as exciting as that, it is sure to be one of the most exciting motorcycle championships in the world.
From getting his bike on fire to winning the Moto3 Junior World Champion.
Exactly, you can't see that anywhere else, and that is the wonderful, wonderful world that the CEV offers. And look at that, look how close you can get to the action and to all of the riders here. There's no barriers, there's no big fancy hospitality units here. This is what racing is all about, that real family atmosphere. So we hope you'll join us at the start of next year. And until then, enjoy the off-season.